When you have chemicals in your science lab, you need to check MSDS. MSDS means Materials Safety Data Sheets. This MSDS gives information on ingredients of substance, physical and chemical properties, health hazards, reactivities with other substances. So, before you use chemicals, you better check MSDS for protection and for safety. Of course, when you use glassware and electricity, you're the one who you teacher who's gonna take care of glassware, electricity, not students. Heating substance, of course, you need to use tongue or heat protective gloves. This is a great website where you can check risk assessment. So when you before your students use your science lab with this risk assessment, they can aware what's gonna have dangerous behavior um, or not. Okay, so I will show you part of this risk assessment. So you can do this website with your students for safety in your science class lab. Okay, let's go to that site. Here's the risk assessment for science.
Students are conducting experiments in the laboratory. Click on the image to identify 2 risks involved with using Bunsen burners.
Okay, 2 risks involved with the Bunsen burners. So I think he too close to the Bunsen burner, so the hair is in fire, so not good. And she's not wearing goggle, so I'm gonna select these 2 and submit. Next.
Now click on the image to identify 3 further risks which do not involve Bunsen burners and may occur when conducting experiments and using laboratory equipment.
Okay, he's using some pen to pork plug-in parts. So this is very dangerous. And eating in science lab is not good. And spilling chemical, not good. Okay.
4 scenarios you might find in the laboratory are shown below.
Okay.
In each case, select the sentence which correctly describes how to control the risks shown in these images. Move the beaker to the center of the table. Move the Bunsen burner to the center of the table.
Okay, this is correct.
Move the test tube to point away from face.
Away from the face.
Move the bottle closer to the beaker when pouring.
That's right. Closer to the
Take the stirrer out of the beaker. Put on goggles.
Yep, this is put goggle.
In which of the following situations would you advise a full risk assessment to be made? Tick the appropriate boxes. Exercising using a step to investigate heart rate.
Okay, you can see some risk.
Measuring daily rainfall using a measuring cylinder.
This is not involving risk. So
using masses to investigate extension of a spring.
Yeah, the extension of a spring can be
measuring grass length in
hurt.
Shaded and unshaded areas.
Shaded area? No, not involved with risk.
Using grey boxes to investigate reflection in a plane mirror.
Yeah, maybe eye hurt, damage.
Preparing a weekly food diary for diet analysis.
So I already choose 3.
Independent.
Okay, and then go.
Suggest how you would control these risks. Exercising using a step to investigate heart rate. Using masses to investigate extension of a spring. Using grey boxes to investigate reflection in a plane mirror.
Okay, so these 3 are involving risks. So you can control those risks um, by having some protection, right? So first risk, exercising using a step to investigate heart rate. So they're gonna using the step, so maybe uh, you can expect falling can be a risk, right? So when they fall, you can have some knee protection, something, then you can protect, you can make it safer. Second one, using masses to investigate extension of a spring. When the spring extended, it can bounce into body or something. So you better have a body protection like a goggle, right? And risk three, using ray box to investigate reflection in a plane mirror. Because of the reflection, eyes can be hurt, right? So better have sunglasses or goggle, right? Uh, some color glasses, better to protect eyes. Okay, so this way you can assess some risks in advance. There are other items here, so share this with your students to assess some risks. Also, you can do some safety contract. This is just an example. I'm running to be a good scientist. I know that I must be organized, neat, and well behaved to learn science best. I promise to prepare for activities. I will listen to directions and make sure I understand them before I start. 2. Care for equipment. I will handle objects carefully and put them away when I'm done. So these are some safety contracts, and then I will share good science safety with the students and families so that I can be a good investigator. So have students and their parents sign on this contract. So this way, you can have your students aware of safety. This is another way to have them aware of safety. Um, Draw poster or have a time to discuss. This is an interesting poster, like it has power to kill. So uh, using electricity is very dangerous. So students gonna aware with this poster. So have a time to develop a poster or a discussion time. It's a good idea for safety. How about National Science Teacher Association position statement? What they are thinking about safety. So let's see that website. This is the website, their official safety position. Okay. I'm gonna make it a little bigger. They said that safety and school science instruction preamble. Inherent in many instructional settings, including science, is the potential for injury and possible litigation. These issues can be avoided or reduced by proper application of a safety plan. So, because science always exploring, do some experiment, so it always have a possibility for injury and some problems. So you need to carefully plan for safety. Then these things, these issues can be avoided or reduced. So National Science Teacher Association put this recommendation. School districts must adopt written safety standards, hazardous material management, disposal procedure for chemical and biological waste. School authority and teachers share responsibility of establishing and maintaining safety standards. Okay? So, like a maximum number of occupants in a lab teaching space shall be based on building and fire safety codes, occupancy load limits, design of a lab teaching facility, appropriate supervision, and special needs of students. So these things you as a science teacher need to aware. Okay, this is very important. And students and parents will receive written notice of appropriate safety regulation to be followed in science instructional settings. So this is what you need to do as a science teacher. Students and their parents need to aware of the safety regulation. So make a contract and add some more safety rules together and have students and their parents sign on it. That's the way you can make sure they're aware of that. And then Texas safety standard you need to keep in mind. So I'm gonna give the website where you can find out Texas safety standards. Okay. Maybe this is just too many open. That's why it's. So I'll try to. Okay. Yep, this is TA, Texas Education Agency website, especially for science. And when you pull further down, you will see documents, hazardous chemicals, safety information resources, science tech transition analysis resources, STAR Science curriculum assessment, Texas Education Agency safety law and rules. And then, so all these are good resources for safety. And then Texas Education Agency Texas Safety Standard. So when you click here, you will see standard. It's a huge sized book, but I have this one on my folder. Let's see. Let me open folder. Let's see. Yep, here we go. Yep, it says this book has some contents. So let me show you first the contents. This is the first page. And then some content here. Introduction, law, rule, regulations, lab investigation and activity. So when you do some lab activity, you better check this one. Okay. And then field investigation activity. And here's just something you need to have keep in mind. For the lab, let's go to management technique and evaluating safety in experiment. So pages 17 and 20, let's go there. Okay. Here's some lab management techniques. Maintain fair and consistent classroom discipline. Classroom discipline can become a factor during a lab investigation or doing field work, therefore, unsafe conditions may be created. Establish routine procedures for conducting a lab investigation. For example, obtain materials from a supply area, return materials at the completion of a lab, and record data if class data are needed, something like that. Okay, so making a routine, rule, regulations is very important. So before you start, make it and share that rules with your students. So when you read through this, there's just some management method you can find when you especially do lab experiment. And the guideline for evaluating safety in experiment. Do not assume investigation in lab manual or journal published, printed, or acquired from other teachers